everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I last talked to you. First reason being that my camera broke, so I had to buy a new one. And also it was quite like 2 very busy weeks, but in a good way, so that's cool. Didn't really have time to read that much, but I still have an update for you, so let's start this new reading update. So the book that I was currently reading 2 weeks ago was the first book in the Wars of Light and Shadow by Jenny Wirtz, being The Curse of the Mist Wraith. And I don't remember at what point I was during the update, but I think it was around the middle. And I actually quite enjoyed this one, even though the first part, the first half of the book was a bit confusing. There was a lot of information, lots of lore, lots of everything actually. It was a big introduction to the world and I was a bit confused by all this information, but I still was enjoying it. It took me a while to get used to the writing because Jenny Wirtz's writing is complex and beautiful at the same time. It forces you to slow down really, and that's even worse when you don't have English as your native language. So it took me quite a while to just kind of get into the flow of reading, finding the rhythm, plus all the information that was given. That was quite a difficult start. But as soon as I passed, I think, the half point of the book, everything somehow changed. I was more captivated by the story. I was also very invested with the characters, which was not the case at the beginning because I was a bit confused. What did they want? I didn't understand their motivations and so on, and it became way clearer once I passed the half of the book. And also something kind of surprised me, and it's that one of the events I was expecting to happen at the end actually happened way earlier, and the second half of the book was therefore kind of a surprise. Nothing was as I expected, and it's cool because this first book is everything you would want from a classic of the fantasy genre. There's lots of lore, there's mages, there's prophecy, there's everything that sounds classic, but there's a twist in the fact that everything you expected kind of happened in the first half, and then everything from this point is a surprise. And it's also darker in tone, and I was kind of shocked by the second half. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. I'm in, but very surprising by the end. So to summarize, it was a difficult start, but by the end I was very much invested in the story. The characters, however, are still a bit difficult to kind of pin down, but I guess that's gonna take 11 books to find out where they're gonna go, what do they want, what are their stakes, and how they're gonna develop. So I'm kind of looking forward to reading the next books in the series. So let's talk now about the books that I'm currently reading. First, I'm doing a reread for The Wheel of Time. It's my first reread, and I'm obviously starting with The Eye of the World. I'm saying obviously, but I could have started with New Spring. For some reason I completely forgot about this one, so I'll probably read it when I finish the 14 books like I did for my first read. I read New Spring at the end, which kind of was a good and bad idea at the same time, because it's good to finish with the beginning, but also was so nostalgic to find out like where it all started. So I started with Eye of the World, and I'm currently almost halfway through the first book, and I'm falling in love again with this book. To give you a bit of context, this is pretty much the first big fantasy book or series that I've read in fantasy. The first fantasy book I read was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and I think I read this one like right after, if I remember correctly. But anyway, it was just my first experience of epic fantasy, and this is why it has a special place in my heart. And as you can see by all the annotations, I enjoyed it very much. and I'm still enjoying it. I'm just surprised at how much the characters have changed throughout the series. For example, I remember the characters very well at like when they were approaching the end of the series, so they were very different from what I'm reading right now. They started so naive and so hopeful and so, I don't know, like they were so not really young because they don't age that much during the series, but they still feel so different from the last books. Loving what I'm reading so far, so many things that I forgot, all the foreshadowing, all the small details that I now understand and see where this is going. It is just so satisfying to read. Oh my god, I'm like out of breath because this is a very special book. And the series in itself, very special for me. So I'm enjoying every word of it, and I cannot wait to continue. Even though I'm reading it very slowly for some reason, I'm just, I guess, taking as much as I can out of it. I don't want to rush this one. And quick note, I'm also reading this one alongside The Eye of the World. It's the Wheel of Time companion. It's basically an encyclopedia. And I'm just looking for some names and some background history for some places or some characters. It's just lots of information about the world in itself. It's like all the glossaries at the end of each book kind of bound up here. And it's very interesting, but I would recommend you, if you want to read this one, only to read it after you have read the 14 books, 15 if you count the prequel in, because it's full of spoilers. But really, really interesting to read this one alongside the books in the series. The second book I'm currently reading is The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I am around 375 pages. And I should be soon approaching this little post-it here, almost at the middle, because this is a better read that I do on my Discord, and I'm enjoying it. Not as much as I would have thought, but I don't really know why. This might be just the mood, or this might also change because I'm not even at the half point of the book, so this might change and become one of my favorites. But anyway, I'm first of all surprised at how easily it reads, and I was expecting for some reason like a book that was more difficult to get into, with lots of vocabulary that I wouldn't know about cathedrals and everything, and actually no, it's very easy to read the book, to like read 50 pages without even noticing it, and I'm enjoying it. I like the characters, not all of them, obviously. I'm hating William. Oh god, this one. But otherwise I find the characters very well developed, and I think that might be explained by the book having slower paced part that I'm not really enjoying because it's very slow. There's lots of descriptions of I don't know, like the situation they are in. For example, the monks part, kind of not that much of interest for me, but it benefits the characters very much because even though you might not enjoy it, you still get a lot out of it for the characters' personality and how they see the world and everything, so it's absolutely necessary. Just that for a book of 1,000 pages, sometimes you really want to get a bit further, and these slow parts sometimes just kind of I just want to get as fast as possible through these parts to get to the action and the corruption and the everything that's happening. It's terrible. Poor characters. There's a lot of injustice, of unfairness, and this is absolutely difficult to read for me, but it's, I guess, a good representation of how people lived at the time, and this is, yeah, a bit sad sometimes. Sometimes it's just revolting. I don't know the word in English, that's probably this one, but anyway, I'm just very angry at the characters. Sometimes I'm sad for them, so I'm definitely invested with the characters. They are the reason why I continue reading this book. They are driving the story forward. Most interesting, I think, is the mysteries and the corruption that slowly start to spread, and then it becomes bigger and bigger, and I'm not, as I said, even halfway through the book, and I can't wait to see where this is going, because they are weaving together lies, hatred, what else, selfishness and that kind of stuff, so it can only go bad, right? But that's also what makes this book so interesting to read, because we want to know how far and how deep they're gonna end up with this mess. So to summarize, it's a great read so far. I'm just not sure it's gonna be a new favorite, but I guess we will see in the next reading update, or maybe the next one after the next, because I still have a lot of pages to read. So what am I reading next? I don't really know for sure, but I think I might continue with book 2 of The Wars of Light and Shadow, the second book being The Ships of Merrier, just because I really want to know if this series is gonna be for me or not. And the first one was, as I said, a big introduction. I feel like I need to read book 2 to see where this is going to go, and if I end up enjoying book 2, I might just order all the books that I don't have yet in the series. So I don't know, I just want to know if I'm going to like it or not, if I feel like this is going to be a new favorite or maybe not. But I did that for The Wheel of Time. I read 3 books, and after the 3rd book I just ordered everything because I knew that I was going to enjoy it whatever happened. So I want to do the same for this one. I need to know, so I might pick up book 2 that is way less than, in terms of pages, than the first book. It's around 700, so it's still not, I'm only reading like big books. I need something that is smaller, and for this purpose I might just pick up The Curse of Shalian, the first book in the trilogy, I think, because it's very small. It's what, 400 pages? Yes, around 400 pages. So I just need something quick and easy after so many tomes. So I might pick this one, or if I have time in the next few weeks, like end of October, start of November, I might just pick up book 3 in the Dandelion Dynasty, The Veiled Throne, because I cannot wait to read the rest of the series, and I don't want to forget too much from book 2 before starting book 3, so I might just pick this one. Really depends on the mood after finishing The Eye of the World and maybe The Pillars of the Earth. This one might just take up a while, and also it's a buddy read, so I don't want to finish too early compared to the others. We plan to read this one up to mid-November, so might take a while. So that's it for my reading update. I'm wondering what you are currently reading, what you read in the past, and what was, let's say, your last favorite, and what you plan to read for the end of this month. Actually, it's already end of October. So let me know all of this in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it, to put a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more videos in the future. And that's it. Follow me on my social media listed below in the description. And yeah, happy to be back after 2 weeks of absence, and I'll see you very, very shortly next week in a new video. Bye!